guys, this is Grace and welcome to my channel. It's been a while. I think the last time I posted a video was the third week of November, and I know that we're getting close to the end of the month of December and also the year, and I'm doing something a little unconventional and starting a series in in the middle or in the end of December instead of starting it in January. I don't know. I just figured why not since I have these videos ready. So this is going to be a scrap series. I really wanted to just use up a lot of my scraps because it's filling up my containers. And so I'm starting off by, I had looked for just tree trunks online and I just wanted a shape of it. And so I downloaded it and created a SVG file and then cut that out with pattern paper with the white background. So basically, I used the white side of the paper. Now I'm trying some mist here and I'm noticing that the Tattered Angels ones are so bad. And so I'm actually going to throw that in the trash. I'm not going to put that in my back in my stash because it's just not working and I don't have the patience nor the inclination to figure out the nozzle situation there. So that's just going to go in the trash. I just really wanted to add some brown to the white of the paper so I can add a little bit of color to that. I feel like the pattern papers, especially the ones that I don't really care for anymore that has the white background, I can really treat that as a white cardstock and then do whatever I wish with that. This is going to be a double page layout. Again, it's a scrap base or scrap themed series that we're doing now, and my goal for this is using up a bunch of green paper stash and different kinds of pattern papers and then create some different leaves with it so that I can create two trees and use it as a bookend for this double page layout. The idea came from, of course, the theme of the documentation, which is a hike. In 2020, when we were all confined in our homes, I think it was June, I want to say, but a little after, maybe a month or 6 weeks after, no, I think it would have been like 3 months after that we've been confined at home, was the idea that we can be outside, but we, can't, it has to be 6 feet apart from people. And so I have decided that I was going to take my kids out and we were going to do different hikes. And so this one was, I can't remember if it was hike number 3 or 4, but it was kind of a funny story because the first few hikes that we were going on, we were getting lost. Even with my GPS or my map that I was following, we were getting lost. But this specific hike, we've done this many times. It's called Seven Bridges, where you go through 7 different kind of bridges to get to just a little creek. But it's one of the favorites for kids because then they can count to how many bridges that they've crossed, and it's good for adults as well because there's parts there where there's a little bit of an incline. It's a good workout for everyone, but of course it's not as strenuous as some other hikes, but it's good enough for at this time I think Mason was only 5 or 6 years old, so it was good enough for him. It wasn't so hard where I had to carry him in my back. So I like this hike, and it gives us a little bit of a sweat. Now my older kids, they don't like hiking. Well, they do, but they don't like these kind of kiddie hikes, but I still drag them. And so you can see some of the pictures of my kids are just like nonchalant or kind of annoyed by it, but I'm the adult, so I make the choices around there. So anyways, going back to the layout, as you can see, I have used a metal die. I can't remember which company it is, I'm sorry, but I used a metal die and it was just a bunch of, it's actually more themed like water type greenery. And so that's why there's like some flourishes in there, but it works. I mean, you can see that there's some like leaves that you can tell that they're leaves, and then other ones that have the flourishes in there. But I really just went to town and grabbed a bunch of my green colored, mostly green colored papers. There are some kind of bluish in there. Yes, there are some that are double-sided, so you can see that little leaf has some orange, but I'm going to use the back side of that, which has a tone of green. Now, my goal or my plan was that to mix up the various types of leaves that I add. I'm not going to put the same kind of leaf close together if I can manage it. I'm also looking at the colors. I want to make sure that the colors are all spread out, even though they're all kind of in the green family. I want the dark to not be, all clumped in one spot. So that's kind of why I'm moving in different places, and I'm just tucking them in. Again, the tree trunk was the base, and then I'm putting all of the other leaves on top of that. And I really enjoy this. It took a while to cut all of these leaves, and I actually didn't use up all of it, so I'm just gonna put the rest of them in my little container where I have the pre-cut elements, and hopefully I can pull them out and use them in a different layout. I'm also using some liquid glue here because some of these leaves are very fine, so it helps to just use some liquid glue so that you can really get into those little areas. And I'm using a stamp block, just a clear stamp block, and just putting that over the leaf that I just adhered, just to kind of give that a little bit more push, or so it will stay intact. That's the hope. Now, you can also do this if you wanted to make it a little bit more texturized. Of course, you can add some foam adhesive to some of the leaves so that there's a little bit of dimension, but I'm lazy. I don't want to do that. Plus, I'm at the point in my scrapbooking that I don't want my layouts to be too thick, because of course that takes a good amount of space in my albums. So I'm okay with it being flat and two-dimensional. I apologize for my head, but because the two trees took up the spaces on the sides of my layout, I am going to put my title over a couple of my pictures. And I am titling this Summer Hike. Of course, this is not the only summer hike that we did, but it's I don't have the brain power to think of creative titles right now, so it's just going to be Summer Hike. But I like the white, the stark white of this particular thickers. I don't think it's thickers. I think it's like close to my heart, or it's foam letters. That's what it is. Anyways, I like the stark white because it stands out against the background that I chose to put it on. I also like the style of the letters because it's very straightforward, and it's a good balance between all of the different organic lines of the leaves, and so I like that one. Now I'm adding a few stickers here and there. That little block that I added, that's going to house my date. I'm trying to be really consistent in adding dates right after or during I make the layout, because I don't want to have to come back later on just so I can, do my research and find the date and stamp the date. So that's kind of what my new part of my process is, because I want to make sure that I do that and don't have to backtrack later on. So I'm just adding some stickers here and there. They're just random stickers that I felt like, oh, it would work with a nature layout. So that is my layout for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this kinds of videos, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe. Now, if you're interested to see what other things I use with my scraps, make sure that you hit that bell button so that YouTube will notify you when I post my next layout from this series. Until then, have a great day. Bye.